am here at the LA campaign kickoff party for Kimberly Ellis. She is my candidate for California Democratic Party state chair.
We've been building for this moment for months, and some of you know that this has been a labor of great diligence and some sacrifice, and for many of us, a considerable amount of risk. And we have with us tonight a woman who is equal to all of that courage, who has faced down all of those risks, and from her time building emerged California into a powerhouse for women candidates, and to be a platform to help open doors, kicking when necessary, to train diverse, talented women, that next generation of female leaders, that when we say the future is female, this is what we mean. It doesn't happen on its own. She's been training those leaders for years and built and fundraised and led a board and created an organization that was equal to the dreams of all of those women and helped get many of them elected. That is the kind of vision we need in a Democratic Party worthy the name and worthy of the next decade in California politics. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the next chair of our state Democratic Party, Kimberly Ellis!
Well, what's up, LA? So, when I was deciding, to pack to get ready to come down here, there are a lot of things you have to think about when you're coming to LA, right? What's the traffic going to be like? What's the weather going to be like? What am I going to wear? Right? I want to wear something that really captures the essence of the mood that I'm in right now. And so, yes, I chose to wear my battle fatigues because, in case you didn't notice, we are at war. Okay? We are at war with a fascist regime that is trying to destroy everything and everybody we care about and believe in.
That's right.
An administration that has no respect for humanity or civility. A regime that is trying to destroy human rights and women's rights and LGBTQ rights and environmental rights and civil rights. And so what you have standing before you today is a battle-tested warrior who is ready to not just heal and unify our California Democratic Party, but a battle warrior that is ready to lead the resistance to start winning back elections. I grew up as a military kid. My dad was an officer in the Army, so that meant that every 3 years we traveled around, we had a new home. I spent my elementary school years at the Presidio in San Francisco. My middle school years were spent in the Midwest and in the South. And I had the incredible experience of spending high school on the amazing island of Puerto Rico. Yes. Claro que sí, hablo un poquito español. Even though I traveled all around as a kid, Tennessee was home base. I was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I grew up with an old school Southern Baptist grandma who was the matriarch of our family. And my grandma taught me at a very, very young age what it meant to be a Democrat. And my grandma said, Democrats are the ones who care about poor people. Democrats are the ones who are in the soup kitchens making sure that the hungry are fed. And Democrats are the ones who raise money to make sure that the domestic violence shelter stays open. And one of the lessons that I took away from November 8th is that if we really are going to rebuild this party in a bigger, better, bolder way, we are going to have to be able to facilitate difficult conversations amongst ourselves and tell hard truths. And the hard truth of the matter, friends, is that the Democratic Party as an institution And some of our leaders at the highest levels have forgotten what it means to be a Democrat. They have forgotten that this is the party of the poor. This is the party of the working class. This is the party of the voiceless. And so I'm running to be the next chair of the California Democratic Party, not just to bring a new voice to this party, but I'm running to be the next chair of the California Democratic Party to redefine what it means to be a Democrat. First and foremost, this party has to get back to what it used to be masterful at. And that is organizing, organizing, organizing at every single level. Right now, the current way that the party operates, we spend way too much money on high-paid male consultants, right? We spend way too much money on TV ad buys.
Right.
It is time for us to shift and deploy our resources on grooming the next generation of community organizers who will organize locally in their communities around issues that are important to us, not just 2 months before an election, but 365 days out of the year. This party has to get back to being the party that is not afraid to roll up its sleeves, to dig into the community, because no matter how glossy or pretty those mail pieces are, they cannot make up for that one-on-one, human-to-human contact that you have when you're in the community. Secondly, I want to move away from just playing it safe. By that, what I mean is we hear a lot of people talk about how blue California is and how democratic and progressive and liberal it is. And I like to correct the record and say this is not a blue state so much as it is a state with blue coasts, right?
Yeah.
All along the coastline, it's blue. But once you start moving in eastwardly, it starts turning purple and red. And of course, we have our rural counties. So I want to move away from us playing it safe and just investing time, energy, and resources in our blue counties. Dirty little secret that most people don't know here in big blue, progressive, democratic California is that the majority of elected officials at the local level are Republicans.
Right.
Okay? That's because the Republicans have been planting the seeds, playing the long game for a really long time. So we should not be the party that pats ourselves on the back and says, we have a supermajority in both houses. All of our constitutional officers are Democrat. We have a Democratic governor. What more work is there to be done? And to that I say, you are very, very short-sighted. Because the truth of the matter is that in 10 years and 12 years, our legislature will completely turn over. And guess who is going to be well-trained, prepared, and ready to run? It's those Republicans who are currently serving in local office right now. And so as Democrats, as the Democratic Party, we have to get in the game and get back to playing the long game and planting those seeds. We have to do that not just in our blue counties, but in our purple counties, and our red counties, and our rural counties. And then finally, I want to do something that no party chair has done, or at least not in recent memory. And that is, I want to use the platform that comes with being the chair of the party, and the megaphone and the microphone, to hold our Democratic elected officials accountable to us, the people. I want to make sure that our Democratic elected officials understand that when you come to this party and you have a D behind your name and you get our endorsement, you get our money, and you get our sweat equity, then your number one concern should not be protecting your incumbency, right? Your number one concern should not be protecting the status quo. Your number one job as a Democrat from the great state of California is to be a voice for your constituents and to work for the people. That is your number one. And so I want to make sure they hear loud and clear that I am not in this to make friends. I am sure I will make some great friendships along the way. But I am in this to be the conscience of this party. What kind of leader do you want leading the largest, most powerful, most influential state party in the entire country? Mine is a kind of leadership that believes in grassroots organizing from the ground up, as opposed to machine politics from the top down. Mine is the kind of leadership that believes in building the fundraising base of this party from individual low-dollar donors as opposed to corporate interests. Mine is the kind of leadership that believes in transparency, not backroom deals. Okay. Mine is the kind of leadership that believes in sharing power in order to empower the masses, not collapsing and consolidating power in the hands of a few.
That's right.
This is an opportunity for the 6th largest economy in the world to do what only California can do, and that is to flex our political, our organizing, and our fundraising muscle to not just push progressive legislation here in California, but throughout the rest of the country. Because the truth of the matter is, here in California, we don't follow the trends, we set the trends. About time. Right? Let us join together and remake, reimagine, and rebuild this party in a bigger, better, bolder way and redefine what it means to be a Democrat and show the rest of the nation exactly what being a Democrat is all about. Thank you.
I want to come to LA every week. This is fantastic. We are determined that this campaign is fueled by the many, that this campaign is fueled by all of us giving what we can in these opportunities like we have tonight and in other opportunities that we try to make available to you as often as possible. And I want to tell you that we hope that you will dig a little deep tonight. We have a lot of big plans. We not only have a fairly substantial travel budget, even though we spend, we sleep on some futons and some couches. We travel in a little Prius, but we have. It's a big state. What can I say? It's a big state. It costs a certain amount of money just to get around it, and so that Kimberly can meet the people not just in Los Angeles and the Bay Area, but in Grass Valley. Last night we were in Banning. We were at a debate in Reading, and all of that, of course, costs money. We're trying to be transparent on our website. We have a list of all the donors who have given to us from the beginning of the campaign through a couple of days before that went up. We have hundreds of donors, many, you'll see we've put them in baskets. The basket of people who've given less than $100 is by far the largest basket.
And we have 7 elected members here in Metro Los Angeles who need to hear from us. Who need to hear in the most organic, simple, and irrefutable way, a little postcard in the mail, that we are standing with Kimberly, and that we have her back, and that we want them to have her back also.
When I first found out about Kimberly was at the caucus down in San Diego, where she did the debate with Eric Bauman. And I was really impressed by the energy and the power, and she's so well spoken, and her presence on stage. I was really sold with believing the vision that she was selling.
So I am actually a graduate of Emerge California, of which Kimberly Ellis was the executive director for 7 years, and she's aligned with the same Bernie Sanders values that you and I are aligned with. My 2 big things are getting money out of politics and getting guaranteed health care. So,
And she has gotten the endorsement of the National Nurses Union here in California, right?
absolutely. So it's interesting. There's two candidates. One is a nurse. Kimberly Ellis is not the nurse. And yet the nurses are supporting Kimberly Ellis.
Why is Erica mentioning this? Because Boss Bauman, I call him Boss Bauman, who did he take money from?
Big Pharma. Big Pharma. He took, I believe it's $12,500 a month for a consulting fee out of his house. So I think it's really hard to make a valid or convincing state of why that's okay and why that doesn't cloud your judgment. And like Erica, getting money out of politics is a big issue that, Bernie Kratz are definitely supporting.
Right. I'm supporting Kimberly because I think, the Democratic Party needs to change in terms of what we prioritize. We want to put people over profits. We want to make sure, as Kimberly said earlier, that we return back to being the party of the people, that we put the people first. Right now, for quite some time, it seems like big money has really taken over our party and pretty much taken over a lot of the common sense of a lot of folks in our party.
But I had an opportunity to hear her speak last year, and I thought that she was so impressive, and she had such great ideas and enthusiasm, and I felt that she was exactly what this party needs. I'm a grassroots person myself, and I know that you have to get out, knock on doors, got to have block parties, meet your neighbors, and talk. We've got to get to know one another again. We don't know anybody in the neighborhood, especially people who live in cities like Los Angeles. But she's brilliant, and we need her, and I'm really very happy to support her.
I had no idea who Kimberly, what she stood for, but I knew if Lauren said, come listen to her, she had to be a progressive candidate that I wanted to listen to. So I'm grateful for Lauren. I listened. I like what she had to say. Of course, I know Dorsey, so when I saw Dorsey, I knew, again, confirming this is the candidate that I should be supporting. And you should be supporting and listening and be careful about what I consider the limousine Democrats. They say they're Democrats, but check out their ride, because they're not driving in hybrids. They're driving in big oil limousine cars. So that's what we need to sort of purge our party of.
Why am I here supporting Kimberly Ellis? Because she wants to democratize the Democratic Party. She's for being transparent as far as the money that she's receiving. And I basically stand behind all of the planks that she's presented and her attitude to being open towards grassroots organizations and community organizers like myself.
Kimberly Ellis really inspires me. Like she said, when she was a little girl, she grew up with this idea of what the Democratic Party was, and so did I. And I think that having her be chair of our party is going to really help push the Democratic Party back left where it belongs. Everybody's been pushed right, and she supports single payer, money out of politics, the grassroots movement, and I'm just behind her 100%. And
I'm supporting Kimberly Ellis because we need new leadership in the Democratic Party. We need to get the money out of politics. We need to get back to, like she was saying, a grassroots party that's responsive to people and not special interests. And Kimberly is the one to do that.
Definitely, I'm here to support Kimberly because she's the new wave that it has to come to the Democratic Party. She understands that everything has to be built from the bottom up, and we have to change the way the Democratic Party is operating right now. We understand that they have done a lot of good things in California, but also they have done a lot of bad things, and they have been lacking of a lot of stuff. One of the things that I'm most concerned about is about the climate change.
As you know, I'm an activist on the issues. One of my biggest issues is banning fracking in California. The California Democratic Party has a resolution that fracking should be banned. And yet, because there are corporate Democrats who have accepted money from big oil, how do we translate our Democratic Party resolution to ban fracking to an actual ban on fracking?
Yeah. Well, we're going to have Democratic elected officials who have the courage of their conviction to not just talk about our progressive, environmentally friendly values of wanting to protect the earth and the planet, and actually do it, and actually develop legislation that is going to not just regulate fracking, but ban fracking. And so I think what we need to do right now is recognize that our elected officials are listening and they are paying attention. And this is the opportunity for the activists and for the grassroots to really let our voices be heard and to let it be known that now is the time for California to really sort of put up or shut up with respect to being the environmental steward and the leader in this country for making sure that we truly are protecting our planet for future generations.
That's why I support you, because you are the activist candidate. You're not the candidate of the special interests.
Yeah, absolutely. To date, we have not taken one penny of corporate money from big oil, big pharma, or tobacco. I'm the only candidate in this race that can say that. And I'm committed to continuing on that path and to making sure that this campaign is fueled by individual small donors.
What do you want them to do if they're inspired by you to help you become the new state chairman of the California Democratic Party?
You need to go online, www.voteforkimberly.com, sign up to get our emails, go on Facebook, like our page, follow us on Twitter, and then reach out to your elected officials. Reach out to your Congress member, your Assembly member, and your state senator. Reach out to our 2 United States senators. Let them know that you are supporting Kimberly Ellis in this campaign to redefine what it means to be a Democrat. And so I want you all to join this campaign and to understand that this is not about me as an individual. This is about us as a collective. This is about our party. This is about getting back to being the party that cares about people.